Igor, how are you doing, brother?
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. Thank you for the invitation, and I can't wait to get the whole podcast with you.
Awesome, man. You're living in Poland right now, right?
Yes, I'm from Poland. I've been living this here my whole life, and specifically in Poznan. That's not like a main city, not a capital, but it's a great city. Yeah,
Yeah. Bro, I'm actually going to come to Poland like in 1 to 2 months. How far is Warsaw from your city?
it's like a 3 hour drive, also 3 hours by train. It's like technically on the other side of Poland, but it's not that big of a country, so it's not that big of a deal.
Bro, let's meet up then. In 2 months, let's make an actual collab like on YouTube. Very cool.
Sure, I'm down. I'm down.
Are you busy nowadays?
Sorry.
Are you busy nowadays?
Yeah, generally I am, let's say, very busy because it's not only the content creation business, it's not only YouTube, it's not only the product that I'm creating, it's also that I'm still a high school student. I have my final exams in like
Oh.
2 months. It's like in Poland, there's this thing called Matura exam.
Oh, I
It's
know,
just
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I have that in like 2 months, but yeah. So it's a lot of work, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, you gotta play the game with your own cards. Same here in university, bro. I graduated last year, high school last year, and it was pretty busy. And our exams are like called in Germany Abitur exams. And I heard about the Matura as well. Yeah, basically, let's get the actual podcast started. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have Igor with me here today, and in my predictions, he's going to be one of the top channels in terms of like self-improvement and like filmmaking. Estimated time 1.5 years. The new king of self-improvement, hopefully. And he's someone who's been making content for a long time, and not just on his like this channel, on like other platforms as well. And one thing that just really sticks out that I really was inspired by as well, that he made his first dollar online when he was 14. And that's, very early, starting the game very early. And today we're going to be talking about how he makes his YouTube videos, behind the scenes of the YouTube channel, behind the scenes of maybe some business stuff that's coming up, as well as any tips and tricks on how YouTubers essentially can grow their channels. Igor, welcome to the show, man.
Welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so glad to be here, bro.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, my goal for this podcast is not to, ask Igor a lot of questions on like how to grow on YouTube and you guys get only like, some value. No, my goal is mostly I want to chat with this guy who knows a lot and I want to learn a lot myself. And thus, me learning a lot means a small YouTuber would learn a lot of things from this conversation. So that's going to be my goal. So, Igor, let's get started from the beginning stages, How did this all begin? Like, when did you come up with the YouTube idea? When did you come up with the entrepreneurship idea? And how did the first story like begin?
Okay, so when I usually tell the story of my beginning, I usually start with me being 14. But that all actually started when I was like 8, because I actually posted my first ever YouTube videos when I was 8 years old. And those were not only like gaming videos, but also actual real life videos. I was teaching some things, like some stupid shit that 8-year-olds do, like, maybe some bike things, something like that, right? But I actually posted my first ever videos there then. And when I was like 8, 9, 10, I was posting gaming content to one specific channel. And the funny thing is that that channel is still public to this day.
Oh.
It's just that there's no way anyone's going to find out its name. I'm going to reveal that. Maybe like when I hit 1 million subs, maybe I'm going to reveal that, post a video to that channel, something like that. But that's when it actually started. When I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. Yeah, YouTube was my passion, right? But back then, everyone was doing YouTube. I don't know if you experienced such thing too, but in primary school when YouTube was technically like kind of a new thing back then, everyone was doing YouTube.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to be a YouTuber. That was like every kid's dream. But the thing here is that I actually continued doing that. And when I turned 12, was 13, I started riding my scooter. Like I became like a stunt scooter rider, and I was posting just simple edits of my tricks to Instagram. That's actually when I switched more to Instagram. When I turned 14, that was when I hit like 1,000 followers, something like that. And I actually became like one of the top riders in Poland. So brands started noticing me, and this one local store that was in my city, they noticed me. They wanted to sponsor me. Give me
Oh,
some
nice.
scooter parts, something like that. in exchange for me managing their social media and also being the brand's face. Right?
Nice.
So at 14, that was like my whole payout was basically scooter parts. So it was not like, anything crazy. I was like astonished back then. But the main thing was that I was actually learning the whole business thing about content creation, about managing social media, how to grow here and there. That was also when we started making YouTube videos where we actually filmed ourselves, vlogs, maybe some cinematics, some edits. I was reviewing different skate parks in here. And that's how it all started. I was filming all that for their channel, and it's actually available somewhere. It's like Scoot Island or something, I think. It's in Polish, but some people may find it interesting. But when I turned 15, I quit. I quit all that. I decided, okay, I'm gonna start something on my own now. And I not only started posting some videos to my own channel, the current one, those videos are not available anymore, but that's, I guess, a separate topic. The main thing was I started posting fashion content to Instagram and TikTok.
Oh.
And because I already knew I had the experience from the past years, I grew both of those accounts to like 150K, 130K in like 7 months. So that's like, that was insane. Like, I could say that I started in December. In March, I hit like 10,000 followers on Instagram. And in August or September, that was like 100, 150.
Nice.
So the growth was rapid, right? But that's because I was experienced in it. I already knew what to do. I think my second TikTok video ever got like 200,000 views because I realized that it's all just a skill. And if I've been doing that since I was like 8 years old, then obviously I had to know something, right? So that's how it all began for me.
You've been in the game for like a decade. Like, you're like 17. I guess, well, it's been a decade, right? That's insane.
Like, think about it. I'm 17 now, and I've been in this game for like a decade. I mean, it sounds funny. Obviously, the early years weren't like anything serious, but just doing that, just posting the first videos, talking to the camera, stuff like that, it all pays off.
Yeah.
Especially when you're starting out on YouTube. All the beginners who want to start with getting views, getting money, and stuff like that. But in the beginning, it's just about getting comfortable in front of the camera. And how could I not be comfortable in front of the camera at this point if I've been doing that for like 9 years already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it started. At 16, I quit fashion because I was bored of it. And how much can you talk about something that doesn't provide any value to the world, like about clothes or something like that? It's purposeless. And so I started this YouTube channel preaching the message of self-improvement through the art of filmmaking. Again, the story repeats. I already knew what to do, so I grew that quickly, and here we are right now.
Awesome. That's a great story, man, to be honest. Like, what actually shocks me is we have these like 30-year-old guys who are new in everything. The guy has done nothing in his life until like 30, but you're sitting here like you're at the age of like 17, but you've been doing this, like one skill of content creation for the last like 9, let's say a decade, like pretty much a decade, bro, and that's a long time.
Yeah, it's also, it's not just content creation is not obviously just posting to YouTube. It was also that posting those edits to Instagram. I learned how to play around with music and stuff like that. But also when I was, I think also 14, something like that, I also got really interested in photography. So that's where all the filmmaking skills come from. Because I started learning about lighting, about, the bokeh, maybe some composition, all that stuff that comes from photography. So I've tried many things in my life, but the one thing that I stick to for this whole time was just content creation. And so now I'm still here, still doing the same thing, just a different topic, right?
Exactly. And that's actually, I think, like really great, bro, because of the fact that the world is going to more revolve into content. We're going to see like all these huge companies, like in my opinion, go into the content scene. And that's why like the skill of content becomes more and more valuable. And one thing you explained is you told the first story of like how you made your first money online, with this like skateboard like company. Bro, I'll tell you the first experience I had with money when I was 16. Bro, I had this like sponsorship, all right? It was like a app, I don't even remember the app, but I'm not even gonna say the name because like the story is a bad story. And these guys reached out to me and offered me like $50 for like a one dedicated video, right? And at the time, like $50 is a lot of money, bro. And like I'm making zero money, still pocket money from my like family, like 15, 16 years old, and like they're offering me $50. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money. And obviously I had no idea about their app, so I like really researched this app for like 3 days. And then I make them like a great video, I edit it. It takes me a week to make the video. And then I publish the video and they tell me, oh, as a sponsorship thing, they have to pay me like 30 days later. Bro, I never got the money. They never reached out to me. So I got like really scammed for like my first sponsorship. And then I didn't make any money on YouTube for like 6 months. And then AdSense like started.
Yeah, but honestly, like, I still can't believe that people these days do such things. Like they want to build their presence, get videos, grow their personal brand, and yet they just scam you. How stupid that is. Like, I don't understand any scammers online because, for example, imagine calling like an influencer a scammer. Some like popular guy who sells a course or something. Like, bro, being a scammer, he would literally kill his whole career because like everybody can expose him and just, if that brand got exposed for scamming you, then their reputation, their marketing is like
will be shit. Yeah, I agree. So, bro,
yeah, but I mean, I'm sorry that it started that way, but
bro, it killed my passion for making money online. I was like 15. That was the first thing. Started with a slap.
Yeah, but as Tate said, that's life as a man. You gotta get pushed over.
Yeah, you're gonna get pushed over.
Maybe, I mean, that brought you to this point at which you are right now. So,
yeah, it turns out, yeah. So, bro, what I want to talk with you about is behind the scenes of making your YouTube videos. Because I think your content, when you compare it to like the average YouTube content, it's much more high quality. And specifically some videos like the Winter Arc like challenge that you made, it's, very, very high quality. And I can guess like probably at least, you can tell me this better probably, but like you probably were put like 100 hours, more than that probably, into one video only. And it really created this like masterpiece that also got a lot of views, right? So how is the content creating machine looks like for you from A to Z? Including coming up with video ideas, how do you come up with your titles, your thumbnails, do you change them after a while, how do you make the videos, how do you script them, how do you edit them, everything. Do you have like a team behind it? What's the secret?
Okay, so first things first, I think coming up with the video idea is 80% of the success, right? Because obviously, I always give this example. Imagine there's a video titled Aliens Invaded Poland. And there's like, by the thumbnail, you can see that that's true. And like you watch the video, it's not clickbait, like that actually happened. Video has like what? Millions, if not like billions of views, right? Does the title matter? Does the thumbnail matter? Like maybe the quality of it, how vibrant the colors are? No, it all doesn't matter, right? Because the idea is insane. And if you can come up with a good enough idea, then obviously like you won't get billions of views as that extreme example. But still, if you're aiming for like hundreds of thousands, 1 million, that's enough. Like a good idea is enough. Then the 20% of the success, the 80-20 rule, then the 20% is actually the execution. I believe 80% is the idea. And so my process actually starts before coming up with a video idea. Before that, I think to myself, which phase of business am I currently in? And there are two phases. One is building an audience, growing an audience, getting more views, customers, right? Generally just growing my brand. And the second phase is getting closer to the audience I already have, teaching them more, giving them more value, so that possibly like if I give them enough value, they will come back to me as customers. And so when I think of it as the phase 1 or phase 2, I'm like, okay, what should I do now? If I'm in the phase 1, which is just growing the audience, then this is more interesting because these are the videos that actually get views. That was actually the Winter Arc video and stuff like that. So when I'm in this phase 1 of growing my audience, then I come up with video ideas that are not necessarily super educational, but the videos that actually get views. And so those are my cinematics. Those are all the videos that are the most popular ones on my channel. So when you look at the most popular videos I have, those are all cinematics. Those are how to change your life in 60 days monk mode, how to change your life in 90 days winter arc, how to not waste your teenage years, listening to music ruined my life. those are all cinematics that are just made for views, because just looking at it, you don't see any specific piece of information that I'm going to give you, right? It's not like you know that it's immediately an educational video. I mean, you know that it's educational, but it doesn't seem as like super valuable piece of information at a first glance. But on the other hand, it's something that gets views, right? So I know that I'm in this phase one. I come up with ideas that get views. How do I know that? Ideas that are good are generally very intriguing. And I also look for something that doesn't exist yet. Because many YouTubers, especially in the self-improvement niche, they create videos that already exist. They talk about the same thing. Like, bro, how do you expect to talk about meditation when 1,000 other guys already explained what meditation is, right? And so people start with things like that, but how can you get views? There's no gap in the market for that. Why would I watch your video as a beginner if I can watch a guy who has millions of subs? It makes no sense, right? So I come up with a video idea that doesn't exist yet. And so how did I come up with the winter arc idea? Winter arc was not really present in the self-improvement space. It was more so the fitness space. Winter arc, bulking during the winter, stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, how about I take the winter arc idea and I just put it in self-improvement? It's as simple as that, right? And it works, right? On the same thing. Monk mode. Okay, I've seen a bunch of videos explaining how monk mode works and, you know, the rules and stuff like that, the transformations. But how about I make this like a cinematic masterpiece? That didn't exist, right? So I created that, and now it's the most popular video on my channel with like
600K views,
something like that. So that's the point. You get something that doesn't exist yet, and you create that.
Yeah.
Once you've got the idea is the most important thing. You gotta ask yourself, what do I want the viewer to learn from this video? What are the takeaways, right? And you start from the back of the video. You start from the takeaways and you go to the front. You start with the takeaways. Okay, what is going to give me the final result, right? Maybe it's building a successful business. If it's building a successful business, making money, okay, so then to make money, I gotta use a certain business model. Okay, to use a certain business model, I need certain skills. And to get certain skills, I need to learn them from somewhere. So really the thing is, you know, how to learn such things, right? And so you gotta start from behind, and really that's how I script my videos. I don't have a team to do that. I once actually got to work with a guy who was scripting my videos. Like, I think that one of my videos was scripted by him, and there was also another one which was supposed to be created. But then I was like, bro, it's not even my video.
Yeah.
I'm just like a face in front of the camera, but now I'm just reading what he wrote me. So it's not even my video. It's not my advice. It's not authentic at all. So I don't do that. I also don't have, it's surprising, right? But I don't have an editor for the single reason that I used to have editors in the past, many ones. Like, I think at least like 6-7 editors. But they did not create what I wanted, right? It's like nobody can share your vision, because your vision is your vision. Like, you can't transfer your thoughts to another person exactly like they are in your head. So when you're making like cinematics videos, stuff like that, it's not possible to have an editor for it, and so that he creates exactly what you want to. You know, it's stuff like that. So I create everything on my own. Here's the thing. And as you ask me, does it take me like 100 hours to make one video? Not at all, because
the winter arc should have, bro. Like, the winter arc was an amazing video.
The thing here is that if you counted the whole time it took me to learn all the skills, then it would be thousands. It wouldn't be hundreds. It would be thousands of hours that it took me to learn the video structure, the scripting, you know, then the filming part, editing, all that stuff. Of course, then it was like, it would count up to thousands of hours per video. But when we just talk about now, how much time does it take me to make a video? I would say like the really cinematic one, the winter arc video, I think it took me like a week to make it, something like that, like not more than a week. And with like more educational videos, the phase 2 videos where I just make the intro cinematic and then the rest is just talking head, I can make that in like one day, maybe 2 days, if it takes me a little bit longer to edit it. So it really is a fast process, right? I think speed is extremely important. You gotta do it fast. And so just to answer the question more concisely, when I sit down to make a video, I first think of ideas, right? When I usually have my ideas written down in my second brain. It's just like I always write them down whenever I come up with something. So I look at my ideas. Okay, let's choose this idea. Then I just figure out the title. I figure out the thumbnail. That's what I do first. I don't take the thumbnail first. I just think of it. How is it going to look like, right? I've got the title. I've got the thumbnail. Okay, I script the video, the script for it, right? For cinematic videos, I have to script word for word, everything. For talking head videos, just bullet points, and I can talk about it from the top of my head. After that, when it's a cinematic video or even a talking head video, I script a shot list. So that's like, I always name the shots that I'm going to take so that it goes faster. Because if I were to come up with everything while shooting, I would film a bunch of unnecessary footage, which wouldn't help me at all. I would just have gigabytes of useless stuff. And so I write down the shot list. That's like one day, let's say, right? Just scripting all of that. Next day, filming. Maybe in the morning, I just spend the whole day filming, right? If it's a longer video, of course, like maybe 1-2 days, whatever. And then one day editing, and that's it. And I post the video, right? Yeah. So that's the whole process. It's very simple, actually. It's kind of even boring that the fact that I have to like just, there's a structure of 3 things I gotta do: script, film, script, film, edit, script, film, edit, script, film, edit. But
yeah, it's a constant cycle. So, bro, what you said is, I think, like, really good, really correct. The thing is, when you come up with a killer video idea, that's going to be a lot of like the weight of the video. And then the video can be like a good video. And what I always say is, a killer video idea with a killer title, killer thumbnail, but a mediocre video is going to always perform much better than the, killer video, but mediocre idea, mediocre title, mediocre thumbnail. That's going to be the case. Then the question becomes, because especially like you can do this because you've been in the game for a long time, and also you also have the skills of, what do people click on in terms of like the other platforms? Because humans are not entirely different. So the person who clicks on something on TikTok or like stays on it on Instagram will have the same tendencies on YouTube as well. But for the people who don't have that experience, who don't have that skill, how can they come up with a killer video idea, killer video topic? Because you can say, for example, well, I knew about the winter arc, and then I knew that it was more in fitness, and then I got it into self-improvement. But most people don't even have that like vision in the beginning. How can they build this vision first? Number 2, how can they come up with these video ideas? And maybe you don't want to share the secrets, we don't know.
Yeah, okay. So when it comes to the video ideas, when you're just making educational videos, which is what most people do, you ask yourself, there are 3 questions that I usually ask myself. First thing, what is the thing I would like to learn right now at the moment, right? What is something I would like to learn about? Okay, that's one thing. Second question is, what is something that my past self did that I can solve maybe? What is the problem my past self had that I can solve now? And the third thing is something like, what have you learned recently that you want to share to other people now? It's always just about what people care about. It's not about something like super controversial, something like that. Of course, like stuff like controversy and all that sells. But if you're just going to talk about educational videos, something like that, then a killer video idea most often is just going to be what the most number of people is interested in at the moment, right? So let's say, like, my best tip for this is, when you're just starting out as a YouTuber, you're not going to realize these things yourself. So the best tip I always give people is this idea of steal like an artist.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
Exactly.
But that's basically, you take a look at other guy's channel, and if he has like a channel, let's say 10,000 subscribers, but his video has 100,000 views, a million views, something like that, right? So the video has more views than his subscriber count. Then you know that it's a good video, and just, you can copy his idea, copy the title, not necessarily the thumbnail. I don't recommend that because it's going to be like, then I copy that. But you don't watch the video, you just copy the idea, you make it on your own. Best case scenario is if you copied the idea from a different niche and brought that into yours, just like I did with the winter arc, the fitness thing.
Yeah.
You bring that idea to yours. Yeah, and I think that in general, when I was also making TikToks, when I was posting to Instagram, things like that, I always asked myself, what is the thing that I could help my viewer with right now, right? And that's just it. And usually those videos performed really, really well. Is there anything else about ideas? I think that in general, it's just about the gap in the market. Because you can make a brilliant video about something like, as I said, meditation.
Low supply, high demand.
Video about abs workout, like how to get 6-pack abs in 5 minutes. But there are countless videos on that, so just don't do that, right? Yeah, and so that's what I think is with the ideas. I don't think of anything else off the top of my head right now.
Awesome. So one thing I think a lot of people is struggling with is this. A lot of like new YouTubers. Now, if you want to make money, you will have to do like an education type of channel. Doesn't matter what the niche is. You can be like a gardening channel if you want, but if you want to make money, it can't just be like pure entertainment, as you also would probably agree. But what happens is, if you have a channel that's education, especially in the beginning, it is really difficult to stand out in the crowd. With the video ideas as well, with the channel, with how you position yourself. And I think you have done a great job at positioning yourself well in the self-improvement niche. Now, which lessons, which things helped you to position yourself well, as well as what's your advice would be to someone who is beginning YouTube in the hopes that, yeah, I want to make money with this, but that means I can't just be the normal self-improvement channel. How do I find my like winning edge? What would your advice be?
The new era here that I talked about in one of my recent videos, it's that you have to have the wow effect, the wow factor, that people are going to click on your videos for some reason, right? That something stands out to them. I gave Sam Sulek example. Why did he blow up in the fitness niche so much? The wow factor is his physique. It's like he's a young guy, nobody knows him, and suddenly he appears on everyone's homepage. He has this insane physique, and like, how can you not click, right? Who is this guy? Why did I not know him before? That's the thing. My wow factor was the artistic style of my videos, and I actually think that this is the new meta, because when you look at many channels in the self-improvement niche or generally in other niches, the top channels that grow very quickly and that stay relevant for a longer period of time, those are the very artistic looking channels. So some names I could give here right now is, for example, a guy like Better Ideas.
Yeah.
That is also a guy who quit YouTube, Nicholas Krissel. Yeah, the German guy. Then it's like, I was really inspired by Nicholas actually. And so I was like, okay, if Nicholas made such videos and they worked, so how about I try to make them now? And like, okay, I tried and it works, right? So the artistic style is like obviously one way to stand out. Another way is if you have some crazy achievements in a certain thing. So there is a guy, I don't remember his name now, but there's a guy who created a video titled How I Made $500,000 at 15. One video on his, literally just one video. But the fact that he made $500,000 at 15, that's just it. That's just enough for people to click, and then he's relevant. So generally, the wow factor, if you don't have anything like that, people won't click. So you either make yourself stand out by something like the or artistic style, something like I do, or using your results. And there are probably some other possibilities, but these are the two that I am most familiar with.
Got it. So Igor, what I also want to talk about with you is kind of like the creator economy. And I know that you made 10K at the age of like 16. And that's like, for the age of 16, that's a lot of money, man, right? And what happens is this economy is allowing people like you and me to build their like full-time gigs with this. Now you're still in like at the end of like high school, I'm still in the beginning of uni, but if I wanted, I could drop out like right now and do this full-time. And probably you could do the same, right? And where do you think this creator economy is going to lead to? Where do you see this happening like 5 years from now? What's going to happen?
the first thing I think that's the most important thing is that it's not going anywhere. So this is the thing that many people are afraid of. Is this business going to be long term? Like, am I going to start a YouTube business now and is it going to be relevant in like 10 years? I mean, if you make it relevant, the creator economy is not going anywhere. Sure, YouTube may go away, something like that. Like there may be other platforms, but in general, your audience and the fact of posting videos online, this is not going anywhere. It's going to evolve, obviously, but this is a very safe business in this case. If Mr. Beast says that like the king of YouTube, right? Then I think like that's a pretty safe sentence to say, right? It's staying here. And in general, with the creator economy, here's the thing you said earlier about brands wanting to go into this creator space more.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually going to give you an example from when I was 15, 16, something like that. I was still making fashion videos, and there was one of the top brands in Europe. I won't say their name now, but just know that you know this brand as from their name and stuff like that, right? So there was this brand, and they could either spend like tens of thousands of dollars to put their like 30 seconds ads on the TV.
Yeah.
For like what? For a random audience. They wouldn't know if the guy watching the most popular broadcasting platform channel, they wouldn't know if that guy is interested in fashion or not. They could target, like the teen brand could target like 50-year-old women, and they would spend tens of thousands of dollars on that because those are the amounts of money that television charges for advertising. So they chose a better option, and they decided to make an influencer campaign. And the reason something like this, a campaign with creators, it's a much better option is because, just think about it this way. They sign a deal with an influencer like me, and they paid me like somewhere around $1,500 for 4 TikToks. So it was really it was a lot for me, right? Because it was just like what, an hour of work, maybe 2 hours, and I got like $1,500 for it. But for them, they reached hundreds of thousands of people who were interested in fashion. And like, obviously that is a much better return on investment, right? So that's how powerful it is for brands and in general for companies to advertise on social media. I think in our space, like self-improvement and stuff like that, there are not many brands that can advertise. But if you had experience with being something like a fashion influencer, a tech influencer, something like that, those niches, you can't like, there's not a day where you go without a collaboration email.
Yeah.
And I really rejected most of the brand deals I was receiving, right? So yeah, this is the thing. Brands are really going towards this space because it's just much more affordable. And so think about it this way. When brands, companies are going to start advertising in the creative space more, then also
more brand deals.
The fees, the price is going to increase. So creators are gonna start earning more. Because if they had to pay like tens of thousands of dollars for TV advertising before, then now like everyone's going to the creators. So maybe they're going to start paying like maybe not tens, but at least thousands of dollars for posts, right? And you know how much the top world top influencers earn from just an Instagram post. That's crazy, but it's the future.
Yeah, I think so. It's the future as well. So in terms of the future of YouTube, let's not go like the most creator economy. In terms of the future of YouTube, 5 to 10 years will pass. And when I started my self-improvement journey, it was in self-improvement niche, mostly Matt Devella, if you know the guy, you probably know the guy, and like Ali Abdaal and Thomas Frank. Like these 3 guys, and Better Ideas a little bit. Like these 4 people were like the main people. And Ali Abdaal's still like big, and Matt Devella kind of drifted off. He did like some different things. And right now, like the main guys completely changed now. Hamza is dominating the space and stuff like this. And the raw and authentic content started having like more importance starting the last 2 years. You know, Hamza led this movement mostly. And I feel like we're going to go through another change soon. This can be with the cinematic content. This can be more like challenges type of videos. How do you see our niche kind of like developing in the next couple of years? 5 years from now, what do you think? What is your prediction on what do you think is going to be maybe the top creator or like the top style of videos?
Okay, so first things first, we gotta make one thing clear, and is that while authentic content is the future, because of, we can see the example in people like exactly Hamza, Samsulek, the people like that. But let's remember one thing here. Hamza did not get to his fame because of the authentic, raw, unedited content. He got to his fame because of the hyper-edited videos. And now when he actually started making these lower effort, more educational videos, he started getting like 10 times less views. He's sometimes going over 100K now. Most videos are at like 50K views at over 2 million subscribers channel. So this is like, a very controversial thing to say that, low effort videos are going to be the main thing in the next 5 years. I wouldn't say so, just basically because of the fact that the attention span of everyone in the world is dropping every year. So, that's just really not possible, because that's not possible to reach everyone. It is like people like you and me. You probably don't watch hyper edited videos. You don't like them. I don't like them too. It's like we don't watch them because we want to educate ourselves. But on the other hand, we are also more experienced in the journey. We are already meditating. We are working out, doing the good habits. So our attention span is better. But if you want to target like the beginners in the self-improvement space, then you can't make such videos because they're not going to watch them.
Yeah.
So really, for beginners, this type of content, the hyper-edited content, is still going to be better. But what I can see happening in the future is the cringy kind of hyper-edited content, just the general stuff when the creator is just sitting and talking to the camera, and there are all those edits like Jeffrey and Adonis, all that stuff. I think that's going to go away because people are just getting sick of that. I've seen different memes on Instagram, something like that, of people laughing over the Jeffrey and Adonis intro, of how over-edited it is compared to what the creator is actually talking about. So it doesn't seem like, it's very contradictory, right? You talk about not exposing yourself to dopamine, but on the other hand, your intro looks like that, right? So that's not the future. I don't think it is. I think that those times are already over. That was like a 2021, 2022 thing when the pandemic hit, something like that. But now what's going to be more popular is kind of like the videos that I create, the cinematic videos, because you can just see the rise of creators who do that all the time. It's like when a creator like Nicholas Crystal goes away from YouTube, I have comments like literally these days I get comments saying like, oh, I missed this kind of vibe since Nicholas Crystal left, and this guy is giving me that vibe. So you see that even like what he quit 2 years ago. So even 2 years after he quit, people still remember him and want to get videos like him, like his, right? So yeah, I think that actually may be the future, and get the cinematic part, get the authentic part of the video, so like mix that together, and I think that's the future. So I don't know if how well do you know my channel now?
No, I don't really well. I watch your videos, bro.
Yeah, okay. I'm experimenting with a different style, so I may start one video with a cinematic intro, then I may proceed to just talking head for the rest of the video. I also try just fully cinematic videos. I just try raw talking head videos. And what I see perform the best is generally videos where the talking head part is mixed with the cinematics. And, it's like, if I wanted to make a viral video, I would make a video like that right now, and it just goes viral. It's just that right now I'm in the phase 2 of growing a business. So I think that could be the future, because you can see many creators, even people like Mr. Beast, something like that. they're also trying to get this storytelling, the kind of, impressive visually look. They're all the creators are going for that, especially Matt Diavela. He's also one of my big inspirations. Even though his videos, most of them are just filmed inside of his home, like they are very visually appealing.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and that's also the reason why he succeeded. I mean, I love that, and many people love that. So I think that could be the future.
Yeah. Bro, in my opinion, in terms of the future, I think people need like two things, right? Number one, they need the information plus inspiration, and the information plus inspiration can happen through a unfiltered 30-minute video, can happen through like a 2-minute video, depends on like the situation. But I think the second thing is, I think every creator needs to develop their way of making videos and their way of like the why you are going to win, right? So for example, in your case, it's more like you are going to win by the cinematography and the other skills that you have, that you combine with great storytelling and great like value of self-improvement as well. And I think people who have only one thing will drift off, because people who have like 2, 3 at the same time will just beat them in the algorithm easily. Because as more and more people will get like in the self-improvement niche, in the beginning, the reason, like Hamza talked about this in one of his latest videos, he kind of like made these insanely edited videos, and that attracted a completely different audience that he wants to attract now. And I think we also have to think about that, the audience we have to attract, and that's something that I haven't thought about for a long time. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, I realized that I'm like trying to switch my channel now. And I think YouTubers who have at least like 2 things going for them will, stay. And they're gonna like survive the YouTube game. Because if you have only one like winning reason, and most people don't have a winning reason at all, bro. And that's the sad part, right? And if you have like 2, I think that's gonna be like the sweet spot at least.
Yeah, that's a very good point, especially with choosing your audience. It's a very interesting topic, but you have to choose your audience too. And that's also the thing that the hyper-edited videos, as Hamza did in the past, they attract a very young audience. On the other hand, I think that videos like mine, like Matt Diavela's, like Nicholas Crystal's, those videos attract an older audience, even though they are high in dopamine, even though they are flashy and things like that. They don't appeal to the young audience anyway. So that's like the sweet spot. But yes, in general, I would say that you need something else apart from just self-improvement. Because how are you going to become a top self-improvement creator if you have nothing going on in your life? You may have the best self-improvement knowledge in the world, but it's like, if you have no experiences, or if you don't have another business apart from that, or if you don't have any cinematic skills, something like that, then there's nothing going on in your life. So how are people going to trust you? It's like, so imagine you play a video. You play Hamza's video, right? Generally, just maybe the old one, maybe the recent one. And he starts with a story, maybe of how he was in street fights. He was this degenerate in clubs, and he slept with tens, if not hundreds of women. But then he switched, and now he's like this more like disciplined guy, hardworking. He's starting a business, a cult, something like that. He has something going on in his life. You can clearly see that. He had experiences, now he's changing, and there's constantly some improvement, some change. He has experiences apart from that, and you know about them. That's why you watch. When you watch my videos, it's like, okay, I definitely have less experiences than Hamza. I have my own too, which I've made the mistake of not talking about them. I generally start to open up recently. But you watch my videos, and why is the reason that you trust me? It's the fact that my videos look professional. It's like, that's it. I could not talk about my journey at all, just as in the Winter Arc video. I didn't mention anything about myself. It's like, I could be a complete loser creating a video. It would look good, and yet people would watch it because it looks good, and people would listen to my advice. It looks professional, right? That's one thing, right? But sometimes it's also that a guy like Charlie Morgan, I don't know if you know.
I know him, yeah.
The reason he has hundreds of thousands of views, and the reason he's blowing up, is because he has a very successful business apart from self-improvement and his YouTube channel, right? So if you're gonna make a self-improvement channel, you have to have something going on in your life apart from that. I generally give the advice that if you're gonna start a new channel and if you haven't chosen your niche yet, then choose something that you like and that you have experience in. Because many people who come to me, I want to start a self-improvement channel. Yeah, obviously, because they watch me and they watch self-improvement videos. So it's like they want to start that. But in general, I would say start in something that you have experience in, that you have experience in, that you have results in. If you like it, then that's the perfect scenario.
Exactly. And thinking about like how you're going to continue with that is also important because you are also going to evolve as a person, right? And that YouTuber evolves as a person, your interests will change. And if the creator has picked something that he or she's not going to be really interested in like 2-3 years from now, you can't really build a consistent business out of it. That's why, for example, I'm probably going to be more positioning myself as a student entrepreneur than just self-improvement, simply because a student entrepreneur means in 2-3 years later, like when you graduate, when you go into the real world, or when you like drop out, you can still talk about complete entrepreneurship, and the people who are consuming like your content is still going to resonate with you. But if you, for example, like Hamza is having this problem, if you just made, simple videos or like 14-year-old guys, then transition is going to be really difficult. And that's why being smart and looking at the whole way through of like where I want to end up, is also a very good question.
Yeah, so here, I like that you brought this up. It's also the longevity of your channel, because many people talk about getting subscribers, blowing up, but nobody talks about longevity and actually running this business for your life. Because when I think to myself, okay, I should probably be able to still have some relevancy on my channel when I'm like 30, 40, something like that, right? Then maybe, like, depending on the success of my business, something like that, I could probably retire when I'm like 30, 40. Let's see how it goes. But up to that point, I have to be relevant, at least on YouTube or something. I mean, obviously I have the skills, so I can always start something from zero, but it's good to have this relevancy, right? In some years. So to keep that going, you do have to position yourself intelligently, just as you said. And in my opinion, it's mostly about doing something that is connected to what you're already doing in case of the growth of the channel. So it's very difficult for most people, because I am very passionate about entrepreneurship, especially in this content creation space, the creator economy and stuff like that. So I started this channel. I didn't talk about it at all. I was just talking about self-improvement, but then I started implementing the content creation stuff. And now it's like, when I'm gonna be like 20, 30, when I'm still gonna be creating this channel, I'm still gonna be in the creator economy. I'm still gonna be working on the same thing, so I can still teach people the same thing. Maybe I'm not gonna be that much interested in like self-improvement as of it. Maybe it's going to be just mostly entrepreneurship, but it's like, okay, if the main thing is content creation, then I'm definitely gonna be doing it for the next like 10, 15, 20 years still, if I'm gonna be doing this YouTube thing, right? So that gives me a permanent thing to talk about, right?
Exactly.
So that's my position. It's hard for me to explain what should another person do, but in general, I don't really like how people go for things like creating maybe a gaming channel and just talking about one game, because then you can see those people like 2-3 years pass, and how long can you play the same game? How long can you talk about the same thing over and over again? It's something to consider early in your journey. While I don't think choosing your niche is the first thing to do, definitely something to do before you have your first 1,000 subscribers, or like 10,000. That there's not like a clear mark there, but it's definitely something to consider early.
Yeah. Igor, let's say you went back like 2 years, right? And you were in the beginning stage of your like starting your YouTube channel. And you already did the Instagram, you already did like TikTok, you already had the experience. You are now transitioning into more like the self-improvement space, the YouTube channel. And you had like 2-3 minutes of advice, 2-3 minutes of like a chat you can have with your old self. What would be a couple of most important advices you would give to your younger self that if he knew in the beginning would have changed the game for him?
Let me think about it for a second. because I did many mistakes in the past, especially because I don't know if you're familiar with that. Right now, I'm making the cinematic content, but I actually started this YouTube channel by talking about other people. I didn't plan on doing that. It just happened. I made an exposal video on Iman
Oh yeah,
Gadzhi.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it blew up to almost like 1 million views. And so naturally, I got the audience I didn't want to get. The funny thing here is that I questioned posting that video before I actually posted it. And suddenly, at the end of the day, it turned out blowing up my channel, but I also got the audience I didn't want. So I don't know if I would say don't post that video, because what I did brought me here, right?
Yeah.
I think I would say stop posting to Instagram and TikTok as soon as possible, because I would just give this advice to myself: focus on one thing. Focus just on YouTube. Focus just on YouTube, because I've had phases where I was focusing also on short form content on Instagram. I was also trying to post self-improvement content to TikTok. That just didn't work for some reason. But I was putting many hours every single day into short form content to Instagram. And it's like, yeah, the numbers are growing. I'm getting 5 million views every single month. I'm now setting up like 1 million of reach on Instagram in the last 28 days, even though I'm not posting anything. But it's like, okay, I had those 5 million views and
What
it didn't
happened?
give me anything.
Yeah.
It literally, it doesn't mean anything. So I would give this advice to myself: just focus on YouTube and learn to work fast, instead of just working, making one video per week, one video every 2 weeks, depending on how inspired you are or stuff like that. No, bro, just start, focus on one thing, make it as fast as possible, produce, create all the time, and then start a business as soon as possible. This is actually a good one. I've had this mistake in the beginning where I was getting followers and stuff like that, hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, TikTok, and actually genuinely, with that following, you could make a living. And just the fact that, okay, like I've made $10,000, but that was also after starting YouTube. You can see that when I was like 15, I've had my hundreds of thousands of followers. It's like, okay, I have that skill of reaching out to people, getting them to watch, getting them to listen to me. But then I didn't have anything to monetize that. And so
Yeah.
I can genuinely say I've lost thousands of dollars just from that. And so for beginners starting out, for my younger self, start a business before you can get clients to it. So create products. If you're gonna release a course later, something like that, create it now and start promoting it right now. Because then what may happen, a video you create right now may blow up a year later. That's what happened to me with the monk mode video. It was like, it wasn't performing well at all. Half a year later, it suddenly just blew up. And so that may happen. And now, like, I have that video, it's the most popular video on my channel, but yet it doesn't get me anything apart from ad revenue. So that's how you miss out on opportunities. So start monetizing early. And it's like, even if you don't get clients, that's not a problem, because the growth is exponential. So I liked one of Hamza's advice in his courses. One of his courses said, if you want to make money 12 months from now, don't make money for the first 6 months, but be ready. So it's like, for the first 6 months, have your product ready, prepare it, have everything ready. And then, like, at some point after 6 months, when you're going to be promoting it, some videos are going to start going up. You're going to build a bigger audience, and then the product is going to sell on its own. And suddenly you're going to go from 0 to like 5K in like 3 months or something like that, if you just set yourself up for it. So the 3 things.
Exactly.
Focus on one thing, work fast, focus on speed, and monetize early. That's my advice.
So, Igor, one more thing I want to talk with you is basically your advice to new up-and-coming like YouTubers, I would say. Now, one thing that you might have struggled with in the past a little, because you started this very early, and I've struggled with this a lot, bro, I'm not gonna lie, a lot, is before you start the channel, you have this like um, social pressure around starting a YouTube channel, where you don't really you want to do it, but like you're in like high school. When I started when I was in high school, and like people are gonna talk about it, like people are gonna make fun of it, especially on self improvement. If you're talking about like, oh boy, like meditate, everyone's gonna make fun of it. How do you think people who are feeling that social pressure should behave? Should they start like ASAP without thinking about it, or like is there a way to encounter that?
It's insane because, bro, I love that you brought this up. I think you noticed the smile on my face because I actually forgot about this part of my journey. I genuinely forgot about it. 2022, when I wanted to start this YouTube channel, I was thinking about it in February. And I wanted to start, but like really, I didn't want to start because this was the whole pressure of, friends at school talking about it, my family saying it, exactly what you're talking about, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start, but I'm gonna make the first video as good as possible so that nobody laughs at me, and I'm just gonna make it great. And I remember the first thoughts appeared in February. Then in April, I was on Mallorca with my family, something like that. And so I was just remember laying on the beach with my notepad, something like that, writing down video ideas, scripts, everything, how to make the perfect video. And that was in April, and so I actually posted my first video in June. So it took me like almost half a year to post my first video to just get started. Bro, yeah, it's horrible. Just don't do that. Don't follow my steps. And advice that I give my students who come to me in my private school is like during our first call, when we hop on, like literally one day after they join, we hop on a call and I'm like, okay, guess what I'm gonna tell you to do now? And it's like immediately. It's usually something like Thursday or Friday. I make those calls on Thursdays and Fridays. So I tell them, okay, so I'm gonna ask you to make a video, post it on Saturday, and we're gonna review it on Sunday. If possible, make 2 videos. Make 1 video on Saturday, make 1 video on Sunday. Don't think about titles, about thumbnails, about editing. You don't have to edit those at all. Don't think about the lighting, anything. Just create. Just create. As I said again, create. Because you just have to start. Again, you just have to get comfortable in front of the camera. And so your first video is not going to get views anyway. That's the most basic principle. My example, I've had, I think, already over 15,000 followers on Instagram when I posted my first YouTube video, and it only got like 200 views. So it's like people that didn't transfer, and not only that, but also it didn't get any views in the future neither. So it wasn't a good video. Now I know how bad it was, but then I thought, oh, I put so much effort into it and it was so good. No, it wasn't, right? Yeah. So the same thing is going to happen for your video. And this is also a good piece of advice that Mr. Beast gave. Make 100 videos, improve something every single time. When you're going to be making videos, I always tell my students, 1 video every 2 days, at least. I give every 2 days. Technically, the best case scenario would be 1 video every day, but I give every 2 days because you have to improve something every time, so you have to learn something. But then it's like at 50 videos, you're going to be at least like, your videos are going to be at over 1,000 views for sure, like 100%, right? If you just improve something every time, you're gonna have a couple of videos that go over 1,000 views. Then if you make 100 videos, that's like an insane level, obviously a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, but obviously if you make 100 videos, improve something every time, then I see you at least at 10,000 subscribers, at least maybe 1 million views, something like that. It's like, I think it's impossible to not figure this thing out and to not go viral if you just make 100 videos, because you're going to be so comfortable in front of the camera. Your speaking skills are going to improve. It's just like, just start. And about the friends and family, I mean, they're going to see a shit video anyway.
Yeah.
Don't have to you don't have to announce it in the beginning. Just create a channel on YouTube, and it's like they're most likely not gonna find it anyway. So just create that, and if they find it, it's like, yeah, you just want to try something out. It's like, if your friends start laughing about it, bro, they're, first of all, like, they may not actually be your friends, because real friends don't laugh at you starting a business. Like, real friends, especially valuable people, always say like, good job, bro, like, you've started something new, great. You're never gonna see a person who's more experienced than you laugh at you for starting a business. Of course not. That's the first thing. And in general, at school, like, with the critique and things like that, it's not as bad as you think, bro, because everyone has their own life and everyone just focuses on their own life. Sure, you may get like one or two comments that are meant to ridicule you, but that's like,
Yeah.
you're a creator, you sign up for that. So just be a man for once, and just start. Don't make my mistake of doing it for a long time.
Got it. So, one question that I have for you in terms of like helping other people grow on YouTube. Let's say there's someone, it can be in any niche, and he started as he took your advice, he started the channel, he's making some videos, he's trying to improve something all the time, but he's still not getting the views. Maybe he's getting like 50, 60 views, maybe a couple of hundred views in a video, but he's like, oh, I wish I got the views like Igor. You can't see his channel right now, it's a hypothetical channel, but what is the advice you would give? What are the first couple of things you would tell to a person like that who's improving slowly but not getting the views?
If a person is still not getting views after like 50 or even like 100 videos, 100 videos is extreme. Obviously, like, most people don't get to that level. I don't have 100 videos anyway, so like, but if you still don't get views after you've been posting for such a long time, then something is wrong with what you're doing, and you just have to figure that out. You have to look at what performs better, what performs worse, and just, keep doing the good things, get rid of the bad things. And in general, if you're just like a YouTuber who's not learning at any private school, a community, if you're not taking any courses, still like an artist, figure out what other people are doing. If you want to get my results, do exactly what I do. It's like, the piece of advice is, if you want to get results that a certain influencer gets, don't listen to what he says, do what he does, right? I generally tell exactly what I do. It's like one of the most basic principles of my channel. But with most people, don't listen to what they do, do what they do. And this is it. If you're still not getting views after posting many, many videos, it's because your videos are still shit and you just have to improve something about them. Because there are channels who post 3 videos, and with 3 videos, they get to 50,000 subscribers, millions of views, because they know what to do, right? It's as with my story, you just have to figure out what to do. And then when you figure that out, it becomes easy. It's a skill.
Yeah.
You don't get better at something by just doing it over and over again. It's stupid, right? You wouldn't try to learn how to, I don't know, do a backflip, and you wouldn't just do the same thing over and over again of flipping onto your neck and hoping that something changes for no reason. You have to take advice from someone. I don't know, buy some kind of product, some kind of coaching, whatever, so that someone can give you some piece of advice. Why are you not getting views? And sometimes that one piece of advice just in one day can change everything for you.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a skill. Remember, if you're not getting views, it's just that you're doing something wrong. It's not the algorithm. It's just you and your videos. So it's very unsexy. It's not what people want to hear. It's like, oh, it's the algorithm. It's kind of luck. No, bro, it's a skill, right? So you gotta improve that skill. And if you get that, then we can start talking.
Amazing. So, bro, I want to finish up this podcast with one last question. And this last question is, I'm going to ask this to every single person on the podcast. And where are we going to see Igor a year from now? let's put some bold goals, bold expectations. So if people are watching this, for example, podcast a year from now, they can go to your channel and see if you have achieved that goal or not. Let's keep you accountable with the community that we have here. Tell us the goals.
Okay, one of my most important goals is building my creator community. This is like the private school for creators, especially if you want to learn things like this. My goal is to create like a worldwide movement of creators. I genuinely want to have this sort of space where everyone is, you see someone on YouTube, he's blowing up, he's getting views, and you look at his channel and it's like, bro, he's from creator community, right? This is like the vision I have. It may not happen in 1 year, obviously not, because it takes a longer period of time. Obviously, it's a long-term thing. That's my main goal, getting more people so that I can say, like, my friend shows me a YouTube channel and she's like, oh, I found this guy, he's a very nice guy. And it's like, he's from my community, right?
Yeah.
That's my goal, right? That's my goal for my community. For my channel, I don't have a clear goal set for next year. I just have one for this year. But I think I see myself at, definitely at least 200,000 subs. Right now I have 50. So at least 4 times that. A bold and unreasonably reasonable thing to say would be 300,000, something like that. I think that just going to that would be sick. I won't say more, even though that is possible. Because I don't know how focused am I going to be on general growth, right? And I think, and I hope, I hope that I'm going to stick to cinematics. That's also my goal, right? Because that's what I want to do. And I don't want to change because of my audience, because it may happen that my talking head videos may start to blow up. But that's not what I want to do. I want to preach the message of self-improvement through the art of filmmaking. So if I'm going to be making cinematic videos a year from now, and I'm also not going to be in school anymore, I'm not going to college, at least for what I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to be in college, so I'm going to be doing this thing full time. So if I've been doing this like part time right now, then let's see where it gets me when I'm going to be doing this full time.
Exactly.
Let's just make this statement. 300k subs. Okay, we're going to go for the bigger number. 300k subs. And I think let's leave it at that. I'm not going to make any other statements. I don't want to reveal my goals too.
Got it. So, bro, anything you want to plug here that you want to lead people to? Because the general audience that watches this podcast is going to be mainly, small YouTubers who want to also grow, because we gave a lot of like tips about that. So where should people follow you? Where should people go to check out your stuff?
Okay, so generally I also teach stuff like this on my channel. Not too much. I mix that with self-improvement. You're going to see the cinematics. I do teach that sometimes, so you can check that out on my channel. But as I said before, the place where I really teach that, all the creator stuff, the creator economy, creating a business around YouTube, content creation, short form content everywhere. I teach that in my private school creator community. It's very cheap, very affordable, just very accessible to most guys. So I'm not gonna bullshit you saying that, oh, you can learn everything for free on YouTube, because obviously you've been doing that this whole time and it gave you no results. So it's like, do you want to keep doing that or maybe try something new? So if you're interested, you can find me in creator community. I give personal advice there, and that's it. I don't sell anything else. That's just it. One thing, very cheap. You can check that out.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
Same for you, man. I love the questions, and bro, I can't wait for more podcasts.
I appreciate that, bro. I'll be inviting you 6 months from now, like a year from now, once more on the podcast. And obviously, like, we're going to be keeping in touch on a personal level much more often than that, hopefully.
First things first, let's meet in Poland personally.
Okay.
2 months from now. That's one thing.
Okay.
Second thing, let's meet a year from now. And by the way, let me ask you about your goals. If we're going to meet each other a year from now, let me ask you about your goals.
So, bro, to be honest with you, I was... Actually, like, my goals have changed in the last week drastically, so I'm not going to be able to tell any numbers, but basically, I was the, only self-improvement type of guy. I was only making the self-improvement videos, and I'm going to be much more transitioning into, more edited but longer, like type of like challenge videos. And one thing that I'm coming up is from like fat to fit in 90 days. But my beginning is not fat and my end is not going to be too shredded, but like I'm going to make like a really nice body transformation video for like 90 days. I have different stuff like that coming up, and I'm changing up my content after this 1 month drastically. So I don't think I will be able to like tell you, okay, this would be the goal, but a year from now, I want to be making hopefully like 10K a month with everything that's going on, and live a lifestyle that I love. And the lifestyle that I want to live, I guess right now would be, traveling, but at the same time not doing that all the time. Being able to have like a month and a half of fully focused of work, and then like 2-3 weeks of like great traveling, and not just doing that alone, like, but more people like you, for example. We can go to like amazing holiday in like Bali, like doing that for 2 weeks, and that's like a life experience. We're making that money, we can spend that money like that, and just inspiring more and more people to take the approach of, you have much more potential than this education system is telling you that you have. And why not chase it?
Okay, bro. I love to hear that. So I'm a stick to the, let's just stick to the 10K per month, and that's gonna be the goal for you. And I can't wait to see what happens in a year time, bro.
Exactly, brother. All right then, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. It was a pleasure to have Igor on, and comment below if he should be like, if you guys have more questions like this to Igor specifically, we can have him maybe if he has the time one more time on the podcast, and we'll see you guys in the next couple of podcast episodes. Every single week, one podcast will be here with different amazing creators like Igor.
Thank you so much.